Hi everyone, welcome to the Knitting Turnpike. Today I'm going to be doing a shorter What Are You Knitting update video. I thought I had this idea earlier today when I was filming my current What Are You Knitting video, and I thought maybe I should just focus a little bit more on my Advent knitting projects. Right now it's December. I'm in the middle of Advent knitting. It's all starting. I just shared in my WAYK 8 update about all the different Advent projects that I'm going to be participating in this year, and one of them has already started, and I shared a little bit of that with you, but I thought maybe I should go into a little bit detail about each clue. And I think this is a little loud. I've got some music playing in the background from YouTube, and that they give you, so it's not licensed. Worry about the licensing. Anyway, I thought I would go into the details, and the project I want to talk about is the Mystery Knit Along Advent Calendar Stole 2020 by Brigit Kok. I showed you a little bit in my other video, but hi everybody. I wanted to go ahead and film this as part of my What Are You Knitting series, but I'm going to be filming these individual videos as I go along because I'm working on it's called the MKAL Advent Calendar Stole 2020. Pattern is by Brigit Kok, and this is the 5th year that she's done this series where it's an Advent mystery knit along. It turns out to be a stole, and my last video was just the one I did for 2019, so it's a long rectangular stole, and there are 12 clues. Each clue is a different pattern, and she's doing this again, and I wanted to film each day's clues and then add them to my What Are You Knitting series, and I thought it might be fun to film it after I just finished knitting it. And I can talk a little bit more in detail about some of the things that I encountered in knitting this, because sometimes when I'm doing a WAYK video, I might forget some of the details because it might be a few days after I just finished knitting it. But I just finished knitting clue 1 of this pattern. 5 minutes ago I finished knitting it, and the clue 1 is called Stained Glass. Anyway, to knit this, you need 875 yards of fingering weight yarn, or you can use lace weight held double, and you need knitting needles US 2.5, US 3, US 4, depending on whatever gauge you want. She recommends US 2.5 and US 3. I started with that. I did the cast on about 8 times. I didn't really count, but I started losing count because I didn't like it because it was super tight. So I went up to I'm starting mine with a US 3, and I'm probably going to go up to US 4 for whenever she increases the needle to a 3. I think I'm going to go ahead and go up to a 4. I have plenty of yarn. I'm using the Manas del Uruguay Fino yarn, and I'm using this color, and it's a silver tea set, and I'm using red and green beads to make this a Christmas themed knit along. I'm using these red beads and these dark green dynamites. They're both size 6/0 because my yarn is fingering weight, so I want to make sure that it fits right. Anyway, when you start this, you start with a picot beaded cast on, or you can do it without the beads, but this is the beaded picot cast on. And as you can see, I alternated the colors. I went back and forth about, should I alternate the colors, should I not? Got a couple of people's opinion in the knitting group, and a lot of people said I should alternate the colors. My friend Nikki said I should alternate the colors. My husband said I should. So this is truly a Christmas themed shawl, and it goes with Advent, so I decided to embrace it. I didn't like it, but then the more I knitted it, the more I am liking it. And you can see we had to cast on 79 stitches, so it came out to be 26 picots. And then this is what day 1, which is the stained glass, is the name of the pattern. This is what it turned out like. I'll try to hold it still so that my phone will focus on it. And you can see the great stitch definition. This yarn has wonderful stitch definition. You can see it's just a really kind of simple lace pattern, but really turned out beautifully. I think I love this little bump right here in the middle of these diamonds. I think it looks so cool. Anyway, that's what it's looking like. And then after you knit day 1, you do what's called the interlude section, which is this transition section. Before we go to the next clue, she puts in a transition, and it reduces the stitches, and you bead some. And I alternated my beads with red and green again, and then you increase it back up to get ready for the next pattern. It ended with I think 93 stitches. So I had 79 stitches for this pattern, and now we're going to be up to 93 for that one. Anyway, I'm loving the silver yarn with the red and green, and I am kind of glad that I'm doing this Christmas theme now. I think it'll be really pretty. Anyway, this is day 1, and I just wanted to share with you guys. I will do a video for each clue. There will be 12 total. Anyway, thank you so much, and we'll go on to the next part of the video. Bye-bye. I've already talked about day 1, so this video is going to talk a little bit more about day 2 and day 3. Alright, here is what I have so far. You can see it started with the picot cast on, and it's beaded. I'm alternating red and green beads to bring in more of the Christmas theme. And then in between each day, there's an interlude. We already talked about that. This is day 2. Beautiful cabled section. It's called Christmas Garland. Lots of pretty cabling. This is actually very easy cabling. And when I started knitting this, I knitted it with a cable needle. This is the cable needle I use. I like this because of the shape, how it has the bend, and it holds the stitches on there easier so they don't just slide off the metal needle. And anyway, as I was doing this, and using the cable needle, I'm like, I don't really need this because it's you know, really simple. These cabling is actually just twisting. It's a 1-stitch cable, so you bring 1 stitch forward, knit, purl, or whatever, and bring 1 stitch back. So it's just twisting 2 stitches in different directions. So I ended up at the end, instead of using the cabling needle, I was just pinching it and moving it around, putting it back on my left hand needle and knitting it, whether it was 2 knit stitches or a purl knit, whatever, you know, was needed. I ended up doing that for like from here on, and I can't tell a difference. So to me, that's just such simple cabling that you don't even need a cable needle. So if you don't have one, don't worry about it. You can twist the stitches. You can use any kinds of things for cable needle. You can use a crochet hook. You can use a paper clip, whatever you have to grab the stitches if you need to do that. Or like I said, you can pinch it. After I did the day 2, I did the interlude section where you actually knit it and then knit some stitches together to create the spacing, and then add the beads and alternate in the beads. Now when I go into day 3, the clue is called Christmas Balls. And on this, it has a special stitch that I want to show you. It's this stitch right here. You can see it again here. And you can see it again here. What you had to do for those stitches is you had to take 5 stitches, put it on your cable needle, and wrap the stitches counterclockwise 3 times. And she mentioned not to wrap it too tight. And at first when I saw some of the spoilers, I thought maybe I didn't wrap it tight enough. But I went ahead and knitted, and I was worried that I didn't wrap it tight enough to make it cinch in, but I think I did. And you can see you do that all throughout this whole clue. well, every so often. You did it here, you did it here, and then you did it here, and you did it here. I count 5 times that you had to do it, that row, 5 rows where you had to do that cinching. And then you just had some easy knitting to create some, like, do some yarn overs, and it really turned out to be a really beautiful design. I love that. I love how it turned out. Again, this is called Christmas Balls, and then you go to the interlude again and do the alternation of the red and green beads. So now I'm ready for day 4, and I just thought I'd share this with you. Let me know if you guys are knitting this, or if you know, we're actually only on clue 3. They're going pretty simple. I'm knitting them pretty much within a day. She gives you 2 days to knit the clues. So I think you could catch up if you want to jump in now and join along with us. I'll put the information on the pattern below. And the yarn I'm using is Manos del Uruguay Fino yarn and silver tea set, sorry. And I love this yarn. It's got good stitch definition. It's wool and silk, enough wool to still have some grab and make the stitches show up, but enough silk to make it soft. So if you guys would like to join in, I would love for you to join me. And there's like a group, Never Enough Lace group in Ravelry, that's sponsoring this, and there's about 60 something people doing this right now. So join in and knit with us. And anyway, I'm going to be doing updates maybe I haven't decided if I'm going to do probably every 2 clues, a small short video like this, and just let you guys know how it's going. I have other Advent projects. I may start adding those in and just make this a fun Christmas Advent month, because to me the Advent knitting is just so much fun. There's socks, there's blankets, there's sweaters, there's scarves, wraps, all kinds of things you can knit for Advent, and use up those little Advent projects that Advent mini skeins that are being sold these days, or you can create your own Advent mini skein, or just use stash yarn. That's what I'm doing. I'm just using stash yarn. I didn't buy any Advent mini skeins this year. Anyway, thank you so much for watching this. I hope that you're starting to get in your Christmas knitting groove. It is time. It is around the corner. And, knit that stash that you have into Christmas gifts, and show your friends and family how much you really love them and care about them with a hand-knitted gift. Nothing says more to me than love than a hand-knitted gift, because, you really had to spend some time, put some effort into it. And, when I get something that's handmade, I think, this person thought about me the whole time they're knitting this, and it just means so much more to me. Anyway, thank you so much. Hope you have a lovely day. And get out there and get your needles going. It's time. All right, talk to you next time. Bye-bye.